Hey, Ojai, happy Friday. We're in the home stretch of this election and I hope everybody's doing well. One thing about the goal of being transparent and publishing everything, the findings that I have, the places that I like to do more research on, is that it's very easy to pull something out of context or misunderstand a piece that I'm trying to propose. So I hope this video offers a little bit of clarification. One is on traffic enforcement. I believe we do need more traffic enforcement in Ojai. We do see the tourists speeding, we do see the residents speeding sometimes, and we just don't want anybody else to get hurt, and I desperately think we need more traffic enforcement that's dedicated to that task. And also, e-bikes become an issue every single day that somebody brings up, somebody almost being hit by somebody, and I think we want to do something right away before a young person gets hurt or anybody gets hurt. So I do agree, and luckily it's not an either or case, meaning we're not going to spend the money on more traffic enforcement instead of planting more trees or instead of environmentalism. Luckily we're in a good position that they can be concurrent efforts, and I think they should be. Next is short-term rentals came up recently on Facebook, and I'm very pleased with what the council has done this year, which is the 30-day minimum stay. I think has gone really far, and I support it 100%. And I also thought that the increased enforcement capability with the city and the increased fines makes sense. I think in 2016, for those of you who were part of that conversation, it was hard, but I think we made the right moves, and it didn't yield what we hoped for, meaning we had hoped that we could keep our housing prices down for our families that are here, and that didn't materialize in the way that we had hoped. However, I think there's enough evidence that short-term rentals can really ruin neighborhoods if the city doesn't properly manage them, and I think we have done a lot of what we can do there, and I support it 100% and have no intention of changing that. On the Cabin Village at Kent Hall, this is probably going to be the biggest thing that Ojai is going to work on next year, and we have our Planning Commission meeting on Wednesday, November 6th. I will be there. I do believe the project should go forward. There's some questions about the location, meaning some questions about due process and things like that, but we'll hear more on November 6th. However, I do think the project should go forward. I'm stating that clearly, that I think it's in our best interest, and when the conversations emerge about the county being involved, I welcome the county being involved. The county often empowers municipalities to deliver the services, so we may end up doing that anyway, but we have to address what's here now, and so I'm for going forward 100%, just to state that perfectly clearly. The Ojai Unified School District Affordable Housing Project, they are in the feasibility stage of that, and I look forward to seeing that report, seeing what they find, how it might be funded, etc. I believe that workforce affordable housing at the downtown property can solve many problems at once, meaning it can retain quality staff, of which many are going to be retiring, and the current staff. It can reduce traffic if people are commuting in right now who won't need to. And I think it could be a real treasure for our community. So I do support that going forward, and I'm happy to work with OUSD to be a real partner there on that. Now, this is their project, not the city's project, but it seems to me the city should be very excited about this and want to partner with them around it. Something that when I attended the museum talks, which had 3 different sessions with agricultural farmers, employees that come in, there was some conversation around Sora, which I found really interesting. One was there were some farmers who were saying they would love to build workforce housing on their property for their employees, but they can't do that because of Sora. And I was just trying to look into Sora a little bit more and find out, is there any flexibility for something like that? Because that seems like a really good thing to at least explore. And then secondly, when Mesa opened on Gorham Road, I was so happy to see that. And if you haven't been to Mesa, I highly encourage you to go see that project. It's really, I think, the future of how this intervention could work. But I saw that agricultural land used for this, and so it would be very easy to misunderstand that I want to end SOAR, and that's not it at all. I've watched the accomplishments that SOAR created in stopping the building that happened between, let's say, Ventura, Oxnard to Camarillo, and so on. So I'm completely supportive of that 100%, and Steve Bennett's work there. It's more like asking questions, as we should always be doing with all of our ordinances and anything that comes from the legislature. Is it happening the way that we envisioned it to happen? Can it be improved? How might we look at it? And so just to be clear on that. Development is such an interesting word too, because we usually want to say, well, anti-development and pro-development, and people take two sides, and every one of those requires some nuance, it seems to me. So if you ask me, and I've tried to say this publicly many times, would I love 10 more units at Whispering Oaks near Soul Park Golf Course, meaning 10 more units or some number of units where our older citizens could live there and pay 30% of their income, no matter what their income is? My answer is I absolutely would like to see that, and I think it would be fantastic. It's needed. They had a 5-year waiting list before they went to the lottery system. We know there's people that are at the encampment at Kent Hall that could have qualified to move into there. So the kinds of development I would be interested in would be, again, a Whispering Oaks, but then another would be something that would help our young families be able to stay here who are being pressured and losing their places. So that's their students going to Ojai Unified School District, or having these people that are contributing to our community who are having a very difficult time. So what's happened is that the council has had to accept some projects and make compromises with market rate and affordable housing that has been brought by the state. And what I'd love to do instead is to say, how can we lean into a project, create a project that we work on, that we have initiated with the very strict intention of these young families. So I don't know what that number is. Those are slow projects, and I'd like to see the projects that are there, but just be absolutely clear. My interest is in keeping Ojai the way it is, and that means thoughtful intervention in very specific ways, going slow and steady. So I do stand behind that. I would like to focus on local issues only, and I think that the council recently has spent a lot of time, a lot of struggle on issues that are not specifically related to Ojai. And so one thing I'd like to initiate, and again, I know council people agree with this, some, and I believe our city manager does as well, and that is to limit our work, the ordinances that we come up with, the resolutions around what is specific to Ojai. I think we need that. We've got a long list of projects. We have commission seats that need to be filled desperately, and we've seen some recent difficulties with gymnastics and so on that a filled Parks and Rec Commission could have solved. And so I'd like to see that happen. A very focus on what is here, what is now, what is central, so that we can build this community and have it go into the future with a solid plan, with good infrastructure in place, with a great budget, and with a team of people who are working together very, very well. I hope that helps. Happy to take any questions. Reach out to me anytime. I'm completely available. Happy to meet for coffee. Happy to meet you in Libby Park at some of those regularly scheduled times. And I intend to carry on those park meetings if I'm elected forever. I've really enjoyed it. This has been a great 6 or 7 months of meeting so many Ojai people. And so if you have not voted yet, please go out and vote on Tuesday. And thanks for listening.